problems. That guy, he just has to touch you once.
Shit's going down.
He's so different than anybody else in the division. Like, he knocks everybody out. Everybody hits hard. They all hit hard.
Well, he
but
pushed.
that's hard.
You want to go? Yeah.
Sure, man. Oh, sorry, when you,
Yeah, so them ones with the A, Robert. Okay.
Yeah.
Send it.
Answer. Anthony Joshua is Olympic champion. First. Jack Paul, it's, sportsman, YouTuber, showman. Rolls Royce, Fiat.
Joe Rogan is known for speaking his mind, and his latest reaction to Anthony Joshua training around Oleksandr Usyk before the Jake Paul fight has shocked the combat sports world. On his podcast, Rogan broke down the strange but interesting situation, questioning why two elite heavyweight champions would be involved in preparations for a fight built around spectacle and hype.
Blending skepticism
With his mix of doubt, respect, and straight-to-the-point analysis, Rogan has fans talking everywhere. People are now wondering what this unusual training connection could mean, not just for Jake Paul, but for the future direction of boxing itself.
Not a chance that Anthony Joshua is not going to just lose the weight beforehand. He's not going to come in drained. What he's going to do is just do extra cardio, and that's just going to make him more dangerous. He's going to be terrifying, and he's going to have a lot to prove. He's going to be very angry.
Instead of training in the UK with his usual team and coach Ben Davison, Anthony Joshua confirmed at a recent press conference that he would work with members of Usyk's team. This is part of his preparation for the December 19th fight in Miami. Joshua called the experience phenomenal and challenging, praising the quality of Usyk's camp, while making it clear that Usyk himself is not sparring him every day.
To find the belief in yourself, not in somebody else's system. You know what I mean? It's like Usyk's team might show him bits and bats of stuff. He doesn't box like Usyk. Can they train AJ to be similar to what Usyk's doing? AJ, you've got to pick out the best of what AJ does, and you've got to pick out the worst and improve the worst in him. And I'll say it time and time again. For me, the best trainer he ever had was Robert McCracken. It might not be what people want to hear, but he had him from the stages in the amateurs, from being a young mind, brought him through, guided. He had a good view of what the competition was out there, where to put him, you know, where to maneuver him, when to take fights, when not to take fights. And he'd invested a lot of time in him, Robert McCracken. So it was the payoff. Now when you go to, you know, if AJ came here or he goes to Ben Davison, or you're going to be in for a big payday as a trainer, it's a lot of responsibility to take on. You know, Ben Davis is a good trainer. He's trained AJ for so many fights, brought him back. He'll have got paid handsomely. Everybody wants to train AJ because it's a good payday. So, but sometimes you have to think to yourself, are you capable of training that fighter? You know, people have come to me wanting me to train. I said, to be honest, we're not going to match. You know, what I want to do and what I want you to do is not going to work. So I just think AJ is looking for that secret ingredient.
By training with experienced members of Usyk's camp, Joshua is improving both his offense and defense. Observers say he is fully focused on getting better. He is working on footwork, timing, and combinations, testing new techniques in a controlled and professional environment. The sparring partners also create real fight situations, keeping Joshua sharp. As fight night gets closer, every session matters for both his physical condition and mental focus.
Simon, I think he's at that stage of his career where he's trying to rediscover a little bit of that confidence. He's gone to Oleksandr Usyk, where we're hearing reports he's out there training with Usyk and the team, trying to pick up something, trying to rediscover something.
That's very strange pause.
It is, but it's not unheard of. I've heard of a lot of fighters doing that. You see fighters, obviously, it's the old Rocky movies years ago, but you see a fighter losing to someone, all of a sudden they go in the camp and they start training and do a little bit together and become friends or whatever else. I think it'll do Joshua no harm to have him, but as you say, he's a little bit long in the tooth and he's a bit on the back nine rather than the front nine, where that experience would really come into play. But I'm just looking at his record here. He obviously after the Usyk fight, he's come back and he had 3 fights and then the Ngannou demolition.
Well, yeah,
job.
Jermaine Franklin, he had Robert Helenius, he had Otto Wallin, and he smashed Ngannou, which everyone went hallelujah for, right?
Yeah, but he's obviously not in like the box rec rankings to see where he is. But the Dubois fight is a fight where what you've just said then, Spencer, like match him right. I felt he was match right with Dubois. That's just my opinion.
Just thought
obviously I was wrong on that and I was proved wrong, but I felt like Joshua would have and should have came through that, but he obviously didn't. So therefore, it's back to the drawing board. And where do you go from there? What do you do from there? Does he keep the same team around him? Does he go and find someone new and try and adapt and add to his repertoire already? And this move with Usyk, I don't know what it'll be, but if he's fighting before Christmas, then he needs to get in shape quick because there's only 8 weeks to go, let's say.
Well, my understanding, he's in camp, he's in shape, and just looking to getting out and get back to winning ways is my understanding. That's why they're talking about 8 rounders.
Yeah.
He wants to sort of go under the radar a little bit, and it's difficult for someone like Anthony Joshua because he's such
Very
a
much so.
commercial commodity.
He's always been in shape all the time, hasn't he?
Yeah.
He always will be in shape. He's never, ever not been.
But it's not about his physical shape, is it? No one's ever questioned his physical state. Zach, when I was talking about Anthony Joshua, and I know that the president of his fan club is here in Spencer, but I talked about the PTSD issue post various fights, whether it be the Oleksandr Usyk or the Daniel Dubois situation. But prior to Daniel Dubois, I always maintained that I felt that despite the performance against Jermaine Franklin, despite the performance against Robert Helenius, which had been blasted out by...
Although Joshua is not regularly sparring Usyk, he is deeply involved in the Ukrainian champion's training system. He is learning from elite coaches who helped Usyk become a 2-time undisputed champion. Joshua says this experience gives him valuable insight from people who have achieved the highest level in boxing and helps him prepare for Jake Paul's unusual fighting style.
Going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul.
AJ's been in camp with Usyk.
Taking it seriously for it to get fucked off at the final minute.
What better camp to go join than the master himself?
What he's doing is he knows that he's got, 1, maybe 2 years left, maybe 2 years. So he's gone to the Usyk camp. There's motivation behind that, you know what I mean?
Yes.
You're not going to that camp just for Jake Paul, because he could have gone to fucking my camp to beat Jake Paul. But he's going to that camp for the future of next year, where he could be fighting Dubois, could be fighting